Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we are going to go over the basics of wave management. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is LilFit. I do educational content, I do tips videos, guide videos, and then I'm going to start doing more general purpose guides that aren't just really geared towards particular champions. I'm curious about my experience. I've peaked at like Diamond 3, Diamond 2 promos. And if you have any questions for me, I heavily encourage you. I'm going to put a link to my Twitch and my Discord down in the comments if you would like to join that and ask those directly as well. If you have your own laning tips, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So we're going to be going over 3 basic ways to play out the wave. We're going to go over freezes, we're going to go over clashing the waves into tower, and then we're going to go into split pushes and how to use the different techniques and when to use them. So yeah, if you enjoy the content, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's jump right into the tips. All right, and let's get right into slow pushing first. A lot of people, I've been asked a couple times because I've referred to it in my videos. What is slow pushing? So slow pushing a wave is just lightly making sure that your wave has a little bit more HP on the wave than your enemy does. And what this is going to provide you is it's going to give you a little bit of an advantage when you are looking to do a couple things. First up, we can talk about tower dives. How you want to look to set up a tower dive would be to have a big minion wave that is really stacked up and is going to crash into his tower at one point. The slower you push the wave, the bigger it gets, and the more power you're going to have behind it in the autos that are going to be sent out by them when you are playing on a champion. If you are playing something like Renekton and you have something like an Elise, this would be a great time to dive, right? You're slowly pushing a big wave in the tower. We're going to stack up one more wave. I know I'm missing a shitload of CS, not really focusing, but so what this is going to do is, if they are a champion with very poor last hitting, say they are something like a tank with that cannot just hit us any CS when they have a tower under it, they just really struggle with the waves, this is going to deny some farm. So that is how a slow push is done. You slowly push it in, and then you can take advantage of short roams because the wave is going to be crashing back towards you. But mostly the slow push, you are either looking for a dive and to deny a bunch of experience, or to stop someone from CSing at a very high clip because they struggle CSing under tower. Or if you have 2v1 potential, if you play something like Alawi or Darius or Kled that can do some really crazy things at level 3, how you can play out the lane is you build up a big wave like that and you overextend and try and bait the enemy into a gank. There's nothing worse than seeing a huge wave stacked up at your turret, you're laning against Darius, and your level 2 Lee Sin wants to fight the Darius. So there are a couple different ways you can look to use this technique. So if you have any questions about that's kind of my spiel on slow pushing. Yeah, let's jump right into freezing next. Okay, and getting into freezing, it's going to be a little bit different with the different lanes due to the different sizes of or the different lengths of the lanes. You can freeze with less minions in the mid lane than you can in the top lane. Predominantly what you want to look for is you want to look for a +4 advantage that is not being attacked by the tower, so you can look to trim the wave a little bit here. And then also when you are looking to freeze, make sure to use Fog of War to kind of aggro and de-aggro the minion wave. What this is going to do, it is going to set up ganks for your allied jungler. It is going to force them into a really overextended lane state. And then also if you play a lane bully like Renekton or Darius again, or if you're playing something in the mid lane like Zed and you want to deny something, I know I'm missing a lot of the CS, but it is I have not slept in a while, but with this freezing technique, you can zone people off the wave. Say I'm a Darius and I'm against like a Malphite, and they just really can't get any CS here. If you freeze it here, it is going to require the attention of the jungler, or for them to take an extremely bad trade and potentially you chasing them all the way down the lane. That's why you always see Darius players that are going to look to freeze the wave. And again, we look to abuse the line of sight. We pop in and out, wait for our wave to come, and we're just keeping this going. If you want to practice freezing, you can go into a practice tool as always, but this is generally geared towards people that have a strong lane presence and can chase people down a lane. Again, if you have any questions about freezing, it can do a bunch of really great things for you. It is going to be a little bit harder to CS though, because you're going to start building up the enemy and minion wave if you aren't pruning correctly, and you are going to have a lot of damage being thrown at those minions at once. But this is just going to be pretty much an infinite freeze, and this is how people get flame horizons. If you ever watch pro play and say someone's playing like a Jax, or not a Jax, a Jace, and they have a lot of lane priority, this is where you can really just punish people a lot, and it just requires jungle attention. And another great thing that freezing is going to do is going to create a huge rift between your top laner and the jungle, because your top laner, the enemy top laner, is going to be extremely pissed off that they cannot farm at all because you have the lane frozen, and they're just going to beg for anyone to come up and help you break the freeze. As you can see, you can just do this infinitely and just kind of play off it as you see fit. Also, if you are getting ganked but you are stronger than your enemy laner, you can pull this off quite a bit. It is a very safe lane state for yourself. So say you're a Darius and you're 2-2, you destroyed the enemy laner in fights, but you've been ganked a couple times. This is a great lane state to have. And yeah, those are kind of all my opinions on freezing. Anyone can do it. It's not too hard, even though I'm missing all this yes. But yeah, that is my spiel on freezing. Alright, and let's get into the final way that I am going to show you guys how to affect the wave and how to take advantage of it. And that is crashing your wave as quickly as possible into the enemy tower. This is going to be highly effective for champions that really enjoy roaming. Say you're playing something like Talon, you're playing something like Aurelion Sol that really can benefit and just zoom around the map. You want to push the lane as quickly as possible and just really make it so you have to just minimize your time in lane, right? So we're just gonna push this in, and I'll go over and we'll talk about a couple things you can do with just a hard push in lane. So what this does is the lane, no matter what, is gonna push back to you. So you can look for a power play around the map. How I heavily like impacting the map is around objectives. I like securing the scuttle crab with my jungler or getting objective control because they are busy doing these minions. If they decide to follow you, you're going to create a big minion lead, and as you see, I'll probably lose 1 or 2 CS while they're losing probably 10 CS when they are missing in this roam. Also, another thing you can do after crashing the enemy, or your wave into the enemy's tower, is you can look to affect the enemy's jungler. There is nothing more than the jungler's love is when they have a solo laner that has lane priority and is pinging the enemy jungler to invade the buff. So this is one of these things that I hear so much with people talking about, hey, I just destroy my lanes, but I can never, my teammates suck and they're not doing well and they don't have enough CS. This is what you need to be doing. You need to be crashing your wave into the enemy tower and then affecting the enemy jungler and helping your jungler out at the same time. What this is going to do is the junglers affect the whole of the map, right? If you're putting the enemy jungler behind, they are going to have less effectiveness around the map, and if you're putting your jungler ahead, you're giving your jungle more effectiveness around the map. Now, I know it always doesn't work, but this is just going to be another 5% chance that you're going to win the game if you're just extremely compatible with your jungler and you're helping them secure more buffs than what they would normally get, and you're pressuring the enemy jungler off of farms. Now, there is a small trick. You need to catch this wave when it bounces back, right? I've been gone for like maybe a minute and a half, right? This is when you really need to be back. So you need to limit yourself. You need to keep an eye on this wave and when you need to return to the lane, and really, really make sure you don't miss this, because this is what a lot of people do, particularly in low elo. I see like a lot of fizzes look for roams, but what happens is they just stay out too long and then they have extremely, extremely low CS scores. So make sure that you're roaming in really short, concise timings, and you know exactly where you need to go. You know, you ping out the objective. Hey, let's take this. We have a power play. That guy's going to be stuck in lane CSing right now. And let your junglers know and your mid laner know, say you're looking for a roam. That is also going to be a really great situation. The final thing I'm going to cover with crashing the wave into the enemy's tower is you are a solo laner if you're playing in mid and top, and what that means is you're going to be a higher level with more resources than almost everyone that you're going to encounter. If you are a mid laner and you're going bot lane, you're going to have a lot more power than they have. If you find the jungler, they're going to be low from clearing camps, and they're going to have a lot less access to gold, so you should have an advantage in the 1v1. So look for those skirmishes and look for just to get your team an advantage. But the big trap that I see a lot of people fall into when they are looking to roam is they stay out too long. It becomes too obvious. You get followed, they push out the wave enough where they're not going to miss too much CS, and you get collapsed on, and then you're like, jungler, why didn't you follow up with me? Always make sure that they're short, quick roams. If you don't see anything developing or happening, the jungler is just sitting and doing his freaking toad, and he's not helping you take the Rift Herald, go back to your lane. Maybe look for a tower dive if you have enough potential, but make your roams as short and precise as possible. If the more you stay out, the worse it's going to be. The final thing I'm going to be covering with roams is where you can sit if you have a very reactive enemy laner. If they do not mind giving CS up at the tower when you crash it into the tower, you want to get control wards, you want to get sweepers, clear out their bush, and wait for them to come if you're in a good spot in a 1v1. Also, with the Fog of War, you're going to have a large advantage because you're going to be able to throw your skill shots from Fog, and they're going to have very minimal time to dodge what you are throwing at them. This is extremely important for pick champions. If you play something like LeBlanc or Malzahar or Renekton or just champions with the CC, this is a huge strategy that I think a lot of people are just not taking full advantage of. So that's going to wrap up my kind of quick and dirty guide to a couple different ways you can look to affect the lane, and hopefully this helps out a couple people that might be struggling with the different ways to maintain the different types of laning. I know that there are a bunch of other ways to play out the lanes, but I wanted to give you guys just a basic fundamental understanding of different ways that you can look to affect the lane. And yeah, that will wrap it up. If you have questions for me, as always, you can just hit me up in the comments down below, or I'm going to put a link to my Twitch and Discord if that interests you to just message me directly. And also, if you want to add me as a friend in League of Legends, I do like a bunch of flex and custom games on stream. Feel free to add me. It's just my channel name with no space. Alright guys, take it easy.